I am willing to bet you have procrastinated in the past. I can tell you I have, and so have most people. I'm going to talk about the 4 types of procrastination and how to get past them. My name is Judy. I am not a trained professional, but I am experienced, curious, and opinionated, and I love to share. Let me know if you get anything out of this, good or bad, like or dislike. Just let me know what it is. I take feedback any way I can get it. First one we're going to look at is overwhelmed. Most people procrastinate because the task at hand just seems too big. That can be because it's too complicated, because the end goal just seems so much larger than honestly it really is, or it really has to be. Way you get around that is to break it down into smaller steps. If you're avoiding starting a diet because it's so hard to lose 50 pounds, well, lose a pound a week. Yeah, it'll take you all year, but losing 1 pound sounds pretty easy, doesn't it? After you've broken it down, you need to prioritize the steps to the goals. Wow, that sounds a little weird, doesn't it? But by knowing what you need to do first, you know what you need to do second. And it becomes a little less daunting when it's mapped out. There's a game plan. Last step, start with the easy part. Every time you complete a small portion of the goal, it helps build your confidence to move on to the next one. Number 2, avoidant. Avoidant procrastination is typically because something seems unpleasant, boring, or you get a complete anxiety that you might fail. Or sometimes you get the anxiety that you might actually succeed, and it's a fear of what's going to happen at the end. You need to reframe the goal. Part 1, reframe the goal, viewing the benefits. It's a switch in mindset from the negatives to the positives of the activity. Do one task at a time. Again, these kind of have steps that work for all of them. By doing small little chunks of the job in small little intervals, spend 25 minutes on it this day and then 25 minutes on the next day. With this YouTube channel, it seemed completely overwhelming to get videos out and get started. But then I realized I had roughly 30 minutes every day that I could put aside to work on this. So I fit the goals, the tasks into those 30 minutes. When you get a step completed, go ahead and reward yourself. Or if you've still got more time, move on to the next step. But reward yourself if it's so unpleasant, not something that has a high value to you at the end. You actually kind of enjoy the process more, and that's what you're trying to do. Number 3 is thrill seeker. Thrill seeking usually comes because a person thinks, I work better under pressure. They enjoy having to rush to get things done. The drawback to that is sometimes you don't have enough time. If something comes up that cannot be avoided while you're delaying getting a project done, it may delay it even further because you can't get around that other thing. First thing you need to do is set yourself a deadline. That is before the deadline that's the true one. I say to myself, I need to get a video up. Well, I originally said a video up every Tuesday. I'm now kind of trying to find what day works best for me. Well, I told myself you have to have the video done by Friday for next Tuesday. So I wouldn't put off until the weekend and give up my weekend to make videos. I'm kind of starting to enjoy this now, so, it's a good thing. Find a way to be held to being accountable. Set a memo on your phone to go off, a reminder that tells you are approaching whatever deadline. I have the Amazon listening devices all over my house, and I can set a reminder that will tell me this deadline is coming up. And that forces me to do it. You can have someone else hold you accountable and check in on you and check your status. Visualize the negative impact. Here I am going, this will make it more positive, but visualize the negative impact of not getting it done to make it more important. Hopefully it won't push you into being overwhelmed or avoidant, but it may push you to not trying to force it into a smaller time packet. The last one, and this is one of my favorite ones, the perfectionism. A lot of people are afraid that they will not meet their expected level of success, that they will not meet the expectations they set up. I like to talk about how perfectionism destroys creativity and prevents you from enjoying things that you should really be enjoying. So perfectionism as procrastination is something I look at a lot. We're going to get a little more in here. A lot of the time people spend too much time planning and revising and recalculating because they think they need to be perfect. Again, small realistic goals, small steps, all set separately. And achieving one then helps you move on to the next. It is really the biggest thing that comes under all types of procrastination. It's breaking it down into more manageable parts that you can start. You need to lower the bar. My favorite is the 70% rule. If you're 70% perfect, you're close enough to perfect. Because very few things have ever existed as 100% perfect. It's very unrealistic to get there. Now, don't set your bar too low and say, throw out some piece of junk that, well, it's done. But you don't have to be 100% perfect. If I just decided I had to be 100% perfect on these videos, they never would have been done because I'm not perfect. I don't have perfect hair. I don't have perfect skin. I don't have perfect lighting. I don't have a perfect computer or a perfect mic. And I've got annoying little dogs who sometimes stop me from recording for extended periods of time. No, Titan, I'm not talking about you. But 70% is usually a good place to get. The reality of procrastination is finding your motivation. Motivation kills procrastination. It's kind of a fix it. Motivation, on the other hand, is hard for people to get to. There was a formula that I found by someone named Piers Steele, and it said motivation is expectancy times value divided by impulsiveness times delay. He defined expectancy as how much do you expect to succeed. He defined value as, well, just that. How much value do you place on the completion, the reward, the end goal of the activity? Impulsiveness is how easily distracted you are. Are you going to be constantly scrolling on your phone instead of doing what you're supposed to do? Are you going to have, I don't know, solitaire up on one screen while you're working on the other, your project on the other? YouTube running in the background while you're supposed to be typing out a thesis. Distraction and impulsiveness go hand in hand. The last one, delay. How long until you get the reward? How long are you willing to wait for the reward? I will tell you, if you set the reward as something simple as satisfaction that it's completed, you get it as soon as you're done. If it's some far outreaching process, since I talked about this channel, monetization, it's going to take a long time. Okay, some people do it in a minute. Some people take 5 years. Hell, there was one guy did something, he's been on YouTube for 10 years, never been monetized. If that's your reward, that's going to be pretty far out there and require a lot of work. So why start? Be realistic about how long it's going to take. I personally like the rewarding yourself because you did it. Thing about procrastination that people don't realize is it is not a personality type. It is not a flaw. It is not a character killer. It's a habit. It is a bad habit. And just like with dieting, smoking, drinking, the only way to kill a bad habit is to replace it with a new one. Practice not procrastinating and make it the muscle memory. Easiest way to get over procrastination is to just start. 3-minute rule. When you start and say, I'm only doing it for 3 minutes, it doesn't seem so daunting. And funny thing about humans, once we start something, we tend to want to finish it. So, perfectionism, being overwhelmed, and fear and anxiety all lead to procrastinating. And yeah, you can stop doing that. You just have to put in the effort. Good habit replaces bad habit. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you hated it, hit the subscribe button anyway. And let me know either way, because I will take it any way I can get it. And hopefully I will see you back here in not too far in the future. But until then, bye.